Another thing I need to talk to you about is PPE, which is personal protective equipment. We use a lot of chemicals via a little bowl and brush like this. Certainly colour, we apply a colour to a client's hair, and unless we protect ourselves by using gloves and an apron, what will happen is that the skin will absorb some of the peroxide and colour products, and over time it weakens your nails and can cause, you know, quite a lot of discomfort there. So Maria's going to demonstrate what we use to protect ourselves. Yes, we've got a uniform on, and you might think, well, it doesn't matter if that gets splattered with chemicals. It will rot the material and fade it as well over time. So this is an example of good practice where Maria's using an apron to keep herself covered and not suffer any chemical damage to her clothes. And she also is putting gloves on, which we wear when we're applying colours, rinsing off colours, applying perm lotion and neutraliser, which is another process that happens during the salon. And you can see that she's well protected now, because one of the dangers to the skin is that you can get dermatitis, which is, you know, raised bumps, itchy skin, which develops further and can also, over time, if it's not treated, it could end your career in hairdressing, because it's a non-infectious skin condition, but it's very painful and can weep, etc. Okay. Another hazard you can see over here is a drinks bottle. Someone has brought it in with them, and we really discourage people doing that, because as you can see, we've got chemicals here, and what could happen is that someone gets chemicals on their gloves or on their hand, transfer it to the drinks bottle, and then when they have a drink, or the client could pick it up, and you know, they can have ingest the product, which can give them a lot of problems with their health and certainly their mouth area. So that's not to be encouraged, so we'll get rid of that. Okay, shall we sweep up, girls? Just sweep up the hair now so that we wouldn't have... so you've seen quite a lot of things that are what are poor practice, so in a minute we'll show you some good practices as well. This is another example of poor practice in the salon, where someone's done a perm on a client and they've left their used end papers in the trolley, so that the next person who goes to use this will find they can't use it because it's still got the perm lotion bottle, the plastic cap that was used over the curlers, and even another product that needs to be mixed. So that is not a good example of how we should treat our salon equipment. Similarly with the rollers, you've got hair all on the rollers, and again that could pass on cross-infection to another client if the previous client had something wrong with their scalp that we were unaware of. So we would clean those up and have those in a nice tidy section of the trolley. That's a better example of what we'd hope to see in a trolley, not rollers covered in hair, but rollers that are clean. Okay, so you can see now that Sam is cleaning up the floor, and it's beginning to look much better. And we would put the hairdryer into the socket provided, tuck the cables away, and then when the client went to stand up, we'd turn them away from the cable so that when they get up, they're not going to have any hazard immediately in front of them. We're just looking at good and bad practices now with regard to hygiene, personal hygiene, and Sam is actually just working on Maria's hair, and we work with grips and pins quite a lot when we're doing put-ups. And one of the things that invariably people do when they're not used to working with pins and grips is to put it in their mouth. And it's a really bad habit, because if the pins and grips have been used on someone else's hair, and then you pick a grip up and you actually put it in your own mouth, you're not only endangering your teeth a little bit, but also you could pass an infection from someone else into your mouth, which is pretty unpleasant. Also looking at the way Sam is working, when she reaches for a grip, she'll be working across instead of having the trolley on the right-hand side or the left-hand side, which is most convenient to her, so that she's got her work tools in a good position. So we're talking a little bit about hygiene here and a little bit about posture as well, because when you're on your feet for a long time, you know, several hours a day, the way you work makes a difference to how you feel at the end of that. If you don't have your tools where you need them and you're reaching across all the time, you could strain your back. We've got an adjustable chair here which Sam can use if she finds the client's at the wrong height, which is another useful thing, because if you don't do that kind of thing, what can happen is you get backache from leaning over your client because they're at the wrong height for you. Okay, so good practice would be then not to use your mouth when you're trying to open a grip. Sam's showing you the correct way now by using the fingers on the other hand to open it, and she's got the trolley just where she needs it. Okay, so she's not straining her back or her side trying to reach tools and equipment, and you can see there she managed the job just as easily by using her fingers rather than the teeth.